Thank the gods, somebody finally came. Tell us, are you from Goreheart or Dyden Hill? How many warriors travel with you? It seems you're not the assistance we requested, but don't think me ungrateful. Canarok could use someone of your particular skill. The town was built for those who made their living harvesting silk from webwood. Though dangerous, we had the bridges and magic to guard us. Unfortunately, that seems to have stopped, and we don't have the people or the defenses to hold out indefinitely. I'm doing my best to save this town. I'm sure you can see that. Those that make their living taking the webbing from the wood so we can process it. Most of them didn't survive the first spider attacks. The old forest is home to countless spiders. I've heard of a time when it stretched from here to Oderath. Legends say that there was even a terrible wraith named the Widow who ruled the spiders. But such is for children's tales. We sit on the border to Webwood, most of us silk farmers. Normally, we rely on our bridges and an ancient Summerfey aura to guard us. But of late, what defenses we have are failing. These monstrous spiders strike at us from all sides. They've even gotten as far as Yolven. A week ago, a team of hunters was led by the village's chief defender, Barton. We need someone to go find him and his party. Good. I have more information to give you regarding Barton and the hunting party. But let's not give anyone false hope. And these townsfolk are growing hysterical. Meet me on the southern bridge and we'll continue our discussion. He is too new to our village to have already given his life in its defense. But I fear it may be too late to save him. They are a strange, mincing people. No sense of themselves or how others perceive them. They're just too caught up in their own nature. The spiders. We've had an uneasy existence on the edge of Webwood. But never have we had to fear for our lives so. And our greatest warrior, Barton, is lost somewhere within it. We need you to find him.
There's a lot I need to do, stranger, so if you've come on business, you should make it quick. The forge is hot if you need to use it, and I've a few items I can spare, but we'll need them soon enough, I'm sure. Just about the only damn thing that keeps the town from falling to pieces. Literally, it's a blacksmith's job. Gorener's decent, from what I've seen. No reason to think he's not the man for the job. I can't say I know much about it, besides the stories I heard when I was a boy. I spend most of my time in town as the handyman. But it's almost as if the stories are now true. It's like the witch has come back. Don't let my mother hear you. You'll have a mouth full of salt and your hands full of cold iron before you can reach the door. All my life it was just a tale the old ones would talk of when night fires were nearly out. But it's becoming real. The Widow is real.
Does no one else see the Widow? The Widow is coming for us, and her brood comes with her. We'll be food before nightfall. We can't hold this island, these few buildings against them. I run the inn here in Canarok. Nice, respectable way to make coin, unlike those foolish silk farmers. Maybe if the inn was in a fit state, but there aren't any rooms for rent right now. You're welcome to sleep if you can find a spare bit of floor. How most in town made their living before the attacks, collecting the webs from the wood and weaving it into cloth and such. Damn scavengers. She's as old as Webwood and twice as menacing. She's the devils of this forest incarnate, that's what she is. I heard tales of war and demons, stranger, but none as chilling as the Widow's. And now she's coming for us. What are you thinking? That we asked for this trouble by living here? That we're somehow to blame for this? What did any of us do to deserve this? What could anyone do to deserve this fate?
Stranger, I heard you aren't afraid to pass through Webwood. What I wouldn't give to be like you, to leave this place. I haven't seen my home in weeks, and I fear something horrible has happened there. It's a strange man that asked to be in charge in this situation. But we'll need to coordinate if we're to survive this. I am not from the town of Canarok. Not properly. My family... Well, I came from the east, from a small farm on the edge of Webwood. My family was never that familiar with the history of Webwood. When we were fleeing from the war, we didn't have time to learn the old stories. But that's all they are. Stories. There's no reason to believe in the widow any more than that the sun might fall one day from the sky and crush us all. My parents loved the wood. Genuinely. There was no war. There was no worrying. It was a simpler life for them. But they were not from here. They didn't know the danger to our farm, to our lives. That's just it. I don't know. I came to Canarok some days before the first attacks. I was stuck here. Our farmhand, Cartery Jake, stumbled into Canarok a few days later. He was tight-lipped about my parents at first. Then he said the spiders got them. Now he avoids me, avoids everyone. Something happened at the farm, but I can't bring myself to find out what. Thank you. I will give you whatever I have. Just bring me news of my mother and father. I need to know what happened there. At Toff Farm. I need you to find out what happened there. I lost contact with my family when the spider attacks stranded me here. Our farmhand, Cartery Jake, made it here a few days after the attacks began, but he won't give me a straight answer about my parents. I fear the worst.
Thank the gods. Someone from the outside finally made it through. I thought we'd be... well, I never thought I'd see a new face again. But it's good you're here. I'm Siluretta Vonner, the village mediciner, and I need your help. He's an eager man, eager to have us all leaping to his call. Though who knows how long the village will last with such a leader. My dear husband, I know he thinks himself useless, but the deer has been essential in helping me keep this town in health potions and anti-venom. It's an old story. My grandmother used to tell it when I was young. It's supposed to scare young ones away from Webwood. They said that the widow ripped out her heart when she first found love, and that she has her spiders rip out the hearts of all who dare pierce her wood. Even the wondrous Dalentarth has its dark places, but the silk we take from these spiders gets a fair coin elsewhere, so here we stay. But recently the winds of the wood are darker, the air more thick, and now the spiders have besieged us. It's as though the witch has finally come. Normally I keep a stock of anti-venom at hand for when silk farmers get bitten, but with the recent attacks my stores have been emptied. There's not much to the potion, but because we've been in Webwood for so long, we're more sensitive to the spider poison than most. So there is an ingredient I still need, the poison glands of the spiders themselves. I'll need someone to harvest them. Good. I'll need as large a batch of the potion as I can make, so 15 glands or so will be needed. In the maws of the beasts that hunt us, I'm afraid, the only way to get the glands is to kill a spider and take them. It's no easy task, but the town needs this potion soon.
No offense, but I've not much interest in talking or listening. Doesn't pay to get too comfortable with people in this town right now. Why are you wanting to know about him? I don't go asking you about yourself. You could return the favor. Survival is my concern, not who leads Canarok. He's human, and all that entails. A story for children. There's not much more to it than that. Nasty place. I'd get as far away from it as I could. That doesn't concern you, and you best stay out of my affairs.
Speak with me a moment while we're away from prying ears. Canarok is looking to me for leadership, and I'm more than happy to give it to them. However, if Barton returns, that all evaporates. Let me put it this way. It is for the best that he is dead. Do you understand? He's a stubborn and superstitious fool. He'd have the entire town chasing shadows instead of harvesting riches. Barton has survived worse than this. I want assurance that he won't return to rob me of my newfound status. So here's my proposal. Confirm that Barton is dead, whatever it takes. I'll pay well for your help in this. Unlike Barton, I have some sense of what leadership really requires. What are you talking about? I merely asked you to find Barton within Webwood. Or what's left of him. Now, are we finished? Canarok has need of me. I'm a very important man, you know.
Stay back. Wait. An Almain? By the widow's mercy, who sent you? Have you word from Canarok? I thought I'd find a nice place to retire. But before I could even look at a farm, this trouble with the spiders began. It used to be a place for easy money when the Fae pacified the wood. But lately, things have turned worse. The spiders make their home in these trees, corrupting what should be a sunny place into a twisted, winding ruin. But Webwood wasn't more than a nuisance, until now. Seems like Canarok is beset by the whole damn forest, and we're not winning. I'm the only one left. My men and I were ambushed when we entered the cave. It's as if the damn spiders set a trap for us. These spiders are somehow using strategy, tactics. Simple ones, but enough to overwhelm us. I think someone is leading them. It's all over this cave. Footprints, torn webs, but no body. It could be the Bloody Widow for all I know, but Canarok needs to be told. That damn... This whole suicide mission was his idea, and now he tries to have me killed? I need to tell Canarok what has happened here, and deal with Garana. I have to hurry. Speak with me after we reach Canarok.
I say, isn't there anything we can do about all this uncivilization in these lands? We have magic and weapons. Should be easy work. But you could fit the bill. I'm part of an expedition to the teeth of Naros, and we need another to come with us on the journey. The Cranwins helped found the Order of the Ash. Our caliber of spells is matched only by our fortitude, as I'm sure you've heard. This is rather base work for one of my stature, but if rumours of this southern land are true, then even among the Cranwins I'll be reputed. The Varani woman? Helix seems to respect her, but I've a feeling she'll cheat the lot of us before this is through. An ominous name. Naros is a troll god. If this is a place trolls believe to be hallowed ground, then what are we getting ourselves into? It's as I said, we're going to the unexplored land south of Dalentarth. They're said to house unimaginable wealth. Our coffers will thank us when we get there. If you need more information, find our camp near Ettenmere and speak to our leader, Helic.
For your part in saving me, you have my thanks. And you're welcome to Gossamer End, a house in the village. Billis Ade, the town blacksmith, will make repairs if you need them. For his treachery, I have banished Garana from this town. The widow take him. Enjoy your new home, but do so quickly. If the widow is out there, we must send someone to Castle Yolvin to find out why. It used to be a place for easy money when the Fae pacified the wood, but lately things have turned worse. We have neither heard nor seen anything from the Fae stronghold in a long time. It was the Fae of that castle that tamed Webwood initially. We must discover how. The fair folk work a powerful magic over this forest. I've seen a lot in my years, but nothing quite like they're capable of. I don't know what it could be. Could be a monster, a spider, or just a tail. There's no telling yet what we're dealing with. The spiders make their home in these trees, corrupting what should be a sunny place into a twisted, winding ruin. But Webwood wasn't more than a nuisance until now. Seems like Canarok is beset by the whole damn forest, and we're not winning. Information. Castle Yolvin was a Fae bastion long ago. They used some form of the magic to pacify Webwood. Perhaps they can tell us how to calm Webwood. We need something to stop these damn spiders. Long ago, the Fae of that castle tamed them, and all of Webwood. If there's any clue as to what they did, or maybe about the widow, we could use it.
Garner or Barton? I don't know which one would have led us out of this alive, of those of us that are still around. All I know is I need to close up the windows, check the cellar, and pray the spiders don't find the cracks in the shingling. The man's a fighter, sure, but he's not been in Canarok too long. He doesn't know us that well, and we don't know him either. I'd be happy to fix up old Gossamer End for you. That place could use some expansion. I can put in a dining area for some gold. What do you say? It will be ready in no time. Let me know if you want any further expansion.
You brought them, thank the gods. My store was almost out. But with these, I can create a fresh batch. Please, take these. I'll be able to make more shortly. I trust his spear, and I trust his judgment. This is a war, or something like it. Barton's the only one with the experience for this.
Another stirs in Yolvin? But it is only a wretched mortal from that doomed town, no doubt. I'm sure my Cathris brood would love feeding on one as strong as you. The last of Yolvin is dead. Your little town is next. Tell them the widow has returned, and she is claiming what was once hers.
By the seas, you sure took the long route to Castle Yolvin. Now tell me, have you found their secret? Can you stop the spiders? We can't defend the town at this rate, and we don't have the time to destroy the bridges leading to the Webwood. I doubt that would work in any case. I'm going to take the survivors and barricade the inn. We'll stand a better chance of survival if we do. The widow is... I don't know. I've fought in wars, I've fought in duels, in bars, but never against something I couldn't beat. Never against something like her. The widow is sending the whole damn forest at us. I'm going to stay and defend the townsfolk. I need you to go in there and try to stop this. I didn't want to think the stories were true, but I've seen her hand in this since it began. It's only a matter of hours before Canarok is destroyed. But Cathris is deep within the Webwood. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hollow is where she makes her home. I had hoped for an army to assist Canarok. You're all I have. Don't know if it's fate or luck, but there's no time. The others and I will take refuge in the inn.
The mortal from Castle Yolvin. How vexing is it that you escaped? Your stubbornness is yet another irritation from you mortals. But it is the way of my kind to endure. It is not a quality we share. The bulk of my hoard lies within, and I am eager that you might face it. But I am not reliant upon my spiders, nor am I unreasonable. I can see you are brutal in your own form. I offer amnesty in exchange for the lives of Canarok. Oh, I had believed for a moment that you had some potential. Oh well, I lack the sympathy to kill you personally. You shall feed my guardian spiders after all. While they draw breath, none shall approach me. These walls obey my wishes. These spiders' lives are mine. Your way to me will be barred by root and fang.
You've done it. We owe you our lives, and our livelihood. If not, we'd be food for spiders, and the widow would be dancing on our remains. There is not enough gold to show our gratefulness. But this is what we can give. Take it, with our thanks. I'm not much for leading towns, but I can protect it, especially with hope like yours. Thanks again, friend. The spiders have stopped their attacks, and the wood seems a bit brighter. We'll see how long it stays that way.
So, the Savior comes for Cartery. What do you want? You did? I must have left it behind when I was fleeing those spiders. The damn things were everywhere. I can see you're not convinced, so that Toff brat sent you to do a little digging. It was only a matter of time before she learned what I did to her parents. But you found out first. A stroke of luck. Now, let's come to an arrangement, shall we? Say, a heavy purse for your silence? Carowin and I fought at the gates of Mel Senshir years ago. We deserted before we saw our second battle. When we came here, she invited me to join her and her husband Eimer and their daughter on that farm. It was a simple life. I thanked the gods for it. Then Carowin and Eimer decided to return to the war and bring me with them. When they insisted, I used the only skill war ever taught me. Really, the wandering hero is going to bring me to justice? I think not. I've murdered twice before, and you shall be my third.
I can't believe Carteret killed them. My mother and father had been his friends for years, before I was even born. To think that he did all this just to avoid the war. I knew my family was likely dead, but I thought it wouldn't be over something like this. Thank you for your help. Here is your reward, as promised. For the longest time, I thought I would put it behind me, try to pick up the pieces and keep heading west. From the war, from everything. But it can't be escaped. There's some things in this world you can't run from. So I decided to stay here. I can't believe, after knowing my family all this time, he killed them. That monster. At least he got his. I've lost the stomach for these woods. Just when you thought the people in town were all you could trust. But Carteret's gone. I have to remember that.
I'm afraid you've caught me at a bad time, friend. The famed hospitality of the gnomes may be missing today. You see, I am in distress. I lent my journal to a fellow surveyor to record information from the Split Rock depths. His name is Horace Despero. He ventured into the caves but never returned. A fellow surveyor from the mining company back east. He went into Split Rock depths with my journal to record new findings and hasn't been back since. I've heard tales of a malevolent spirit that was trapped within the cavern decades ago. Those who venture in are said never to be seen again. I'm with an outfit known as Motus Mining. We mostly operate out of Detir, but I'm in Dalentarth surveying the forest for new loads to work. Motus is a large gnomish mining company to the east. It profits by selling the resources that it mines. Surveyors like me, who work for Motus, go out into the field and record any pertinent data they find. Most often, you'll find we're a great source of help and advice in just about any area, from irrigation techniques to healing. The gnomes are some of the brightest, most creative minds around. Wherever there's a problem, we'll find the solution. We give so much, and ask for so little in return. No, I am worried about him, and I must admit, my journal as well. It may sound selfish, but the journals we surveyors keep are very important to our work. If possible, I need to find out what became of my friend. And the journal too. I'm a surveyor from a mining company from the east. The journal contains all the data I've gathered from my exploration of the area. I lent it to Horace so that he could add data he gathered from Split Rock depths. Since he hasn't returned, I'm worried something terrible might have happened down there. If you can find out what happened, I would like to know. It should be somewhere in Split Rock depths. As I said, Horace may be trapped down there also. Please, find out what became of him, and bring the journal back to me. My journal! Oh, I trust this wasn't too difficult to obtain. What of Horace? A shame that. Thank you for being brave enough to retrieve this, in spite of what happened to Horace. As we agreed, here is some gold for your trouble. I appreciate your help. Terrible, terrible what happened to him. I will remember Horace Despero as the bravest gnome I ever had the pleasure to meet. He was one fine, dedicated worker. You don't find that sort of ethic much anymore.
Well done, friend. Well done indeed. I know in time the trolls will return, but at least now I can make it back to Shieldring Keep with my head held high. Here, take this. It was Jury's sword. Broken now, but she might be mighty again if a skilled smith wants to make her so. It's what Jury would have wanted. I wasn't able to complete the contract, but since you have, you best get your own eye back to Shieldring Keep and turn it in. Off with you then!
Really, there's no need to stand around and gape. On with you. Really, there's no need to stand around and gape. The last poor souls who tried it came to no good, did they? A shame. But profitable for you. Here's the pay.
I knew neither of them would face me himself. Who sent you? Was it Delph? Agnar? Dangerous, yes, but narrow as a blade. That one couldn't see beyond the realm of his precious Enodon. He suffers for it. They are my sons and brothers, a vast family with one goal in this short life: to punish the weak and initiate the strong. Soon, all of Amalur will see red. His betrayal was the coldest. I dragged that boy from the depths of a Mergen nest, and then raised him as my own. It's a shame his spine leaked out of him. So, you're here on behalf of Delph, that traitorous sow. I gather you're here to send a message as well. Let me guess. Blood has been paid for his crimes. What Delph doesn't realize is that the blood right is a privilege of the Red Legion, and he lost that privilege when he betrayed us. The choice is yours, stranger. Throw your lot in with the monk and his coward god, or work for me. At least I will pay you for your trouble. Don't tell me you're as thick as your friend Delph. I require his death. Either you can do it, or I will send another. It's your choice. Unwise. Some of us are richer than kings. If you're not with us, you're against us. The Red Legion drinks the blood of its enemies.
It's done? I don't know how I feel. It's like the end of a long nightmare. How can I ever thank you? I took up a collection around the mission. I lied and said it was for charity, but you understand. The others can never know. Thank you.
You're back. Glad to see you made it out of there alive. We felt the earth shake and when you hadn't returned. But no matter. Our town is forever in your debt. Please, take this. It's not much, after all you've done, but we would like you to have it. The boggarts will always trouble Dyden Hill. As long as we can keep a supply of Plague Shield, we'll survive this malady. Disgusting little fey vermin. We're all glad to be rid of them. More ruins beneath the caverns, you say? I wonder who was there before the boggarts moved in. Well, we've weathered this storm. Pray Mitharu we weather the next. St. Hadwin's. It's north of here, through the woods. The town gets healthier by the day, now that those little beasts are back in their den. I hope that's the last I see of those brutes in Dyden Hill. Or anywhere, for that matter.
You're a brave soul coming to Dyden Hill. This little village is faring pretty badly, and I would know. I was in the war. It's in your best interest to fill your pack and depart as soon as you're able. The blood plague works fast, very fast. It's pretty nasty, and I've seen my fair share of infections and ailments. We had plenty of them in the trenches and on the walls of Melson Shear. You don't want to know about me. Besides, that name hardly means anything to me now. I came back different, a shadow of the boy from Goreheart. I'd rather not talk about it if that's okay with you. I think about the war enough as it is, and I doubt these wolves will ever let me forget it. It was once an old Alfar outpost, nothing extraordinary. Then it became the last line of defense, where we held back the Tuatha through long nights of fire. Melson Shear is where I lost this hand, and where I knew I'd never come home the same man that I left. You met Gisela? How? I sent that death notice. She should know that I'm dead. She cannot know that I survived. Call me a coward, call me whatever you wish. I am not the same man she wed so long ago. I am broken. I cannot subject her to the nightmares, the wounds, the restlessness. I will spare her that torment. I don't know. I've endured much, but perhaps she has endured even more. Her silent vigil has no doubt been as trying as my time on the battlefield, you're right. This reunion is one we both deserve. We have earned our happiness. How could I have ever considered anything else? Thank you truly. Thank you. I paid a scholar to fashion a false death notice, the kind the army uses to inform the next of kin that a soldier has fallen in the line of duty. A courier left with it several days ago. All my hope for Gisella's future went with it.
Brother Falin dead on the road. Oh, what is this town coming to? At least you have the plague shield. It will last, for a while yet at any rate. Thank you. Thank you and bless you so very, very much. If you have a need for healing, do come back. Poor dear, that is an old stone. These days it's almost common to lose a friend, and I'll tell you he was a dear one. He'll be sorely missed here and up at the mission. May Mithoro keep him. I'm just glad we've worked that old nonsense and bother out. All that petty worrying.
It is you! I never dared hope that this day would come. Once you start to believe in the fantasy, the reality becomes too unbearable to return to. Camden has returned to me, and you have made it so. You have done the impossible, and for that, I owe you more than this meager reward. I can see a future now, where before there was only the harsh cold of a long winter. Now there is the warmth of spring. Thank you.
There ain't no fish today, stranger. It's best you look elsewhere. Can't even look a fish in the face anymore. Not ever since I met that nymph. I've been a fisherman on these shores since I could cast a net. Even the Etten leave me be. Used to be this was Holmes Lake. But I lost my wife Imelda to fever and my nephew abandoned me to go to Dyden Hill. And now I'm just a man content to die in the house my family built here years ago. They're hostile enough normally, but of late it seems like a couple have become struck with divine inspiration. Kind that makes the Etten go to war. If they keep this up, we might have an Etten war party on our hands. If only someone might take care of those shamans first. Not much here anymore besides the Etten and myself. We get the occasional traveller, but it's not often. I can remember when I first saw her, on the cliff to the south, overlooking Ettenmere. I saw that watery maiden and I fell in love with her. I've outlived my Imelda. My nephew Thaddeus up and left for Dyden Hill for want of never seeing me again. I had a chance of ending loneliness, but it was taken from me. The beasts of the wild scared her off. We were to wed by my pier, but I ain't seen her for days now. I'd searched, but the monsters will rip me to shreds. I bet you could indeed, but that's only half of what's needed. You must also find my bride-to-be. Then the wedding will be upon us. I've got to find the ring. I need to find my bear mask. I need to prepare. You best start by the pier. If she's not there, keep heading south. She's bound to be somewhere. Go on now. I will ready myself for the wedding and then catch up to you. Well, I've seen a few fine women in my day. Even met a fey woman in Gorehart long ago. But that nymph, she's something else. Her skin's lustre. Her heaving prow and ample stern. Except for the fishy parts, I mean. But even so, I've fished this lake enough that the form is, pleasingly familiar. I was to meet her at the old pier, but the gentle creature got scared by the monsters, no doubt. I first laid eyes on her from the cliff overlooking the lake, to the south. I bet if you head south, you'll still find her.
Only one head, by the mercy of the gods. I thought my time had come at last. Fate does not seem to hold much stock in my expedition, but it leaves me alive to see its utter failure through to the end. I'm here from Odessa on business. The rest of my expedition was wiped out by the Etten. Can't say I know all that much about the old man, other than he's a fisherman here in Ettenmere. He's quite a hospitable man, though. He let me stay here without much question. Their impudence seems tied to their devotion. From what I can tell, a small number of prominent shamans are rallying them. If someone had a head on their shoulders and a blade, then toppling those shaman would help pacify the area. I came here strictly for research purposes. This is not a place many people would come on their own accord. I was leading an expedition to recover a pair of Arathi artifacts, known only as Shine and Shadow, I've spent the last decade researching them. Texts say the artifacts are powerful, but what they can do is never explicitly stated. Regardless, the Templars feel it best to place such items under their guard. But the Etin have hit us hard. And it's said that the artifacts are guarded in Delac by an ancient powerful shaman of their kind. I'm at a loss for what to do. I have not had such good news in some time. My research indicates that the artifacts are somewhere in Delac. It seems they're now a trophy of the Etin. I can promise you this much. Though my expedition was underprepared, it was not underfinanced. A large reward waits for one who finds the artifacts. My research has tracked them to Delac. There is talk of an ancient guardian. From the looks of this place, it's likely some Etin.
Well, look at what we have here. Truthfully, I never expected to see another civilized soul out here in Etenmere. Something about the giant hairy monsters must keep people away. Good to meet you. The name is Ray Kildine, purveyor of fine sagecrafting goods and friend to the House of Ballads. I've been out here for weeks. Getting in is the easy part. It's getting back out that will get you killed. Lucky for me, Wenson and his friends have their oratory out here. Whatever an oratory is. They've never let me inside. Sure, Wenson and me are close friends, like brothers. And he doesn't mind at all if I camp outside the oratory here. Just so long as I clean up my mess. Apparently he's a legendary knight of the House of Ballads, its ruler. But I've never seen him slay anything. He doesn't even own a crown. I don't call any one village or city home. No, I'm a wanderer by nature, a merchant by trade. Most people just assume it's because I'm a restless spirit. Actually, it's because my wife wants me dead. If the two of you ever meet, don't tell her you found me. Please. She's terrifying. It's a mystery to me. Fae come and go, but none of them ever pay me much mind. A while back, one of them dropped something in passing. They called it a cairn. I had it in my possession for one glorious night, before they pried it from my grip. Magic, I suppose. They don't seem to do much of anything on their own. I heard Wenson mention something about an echo stone, but I don't know what that is. Sounds like trouble to me.
Hello, I'm Lady Olaine. What do I call you? I prefer names to titles. Sometimes we here at the House of Ballads can get a little caught up in the veneration. Of course, you're Sagril now, as it should be. Welcome. Famor was no friend to his kind even before he was cursed. It is good that Ferrara's lot in the telling is to end the fiend's days. He deserves it. It may seem silly to outsiders, but the Court of Enchantments has become very meaningful to the Fae of the Summer Court. Our songs live on despite the decline in magic. Mortals have kingdoms and tribes and nations. We Fae are connected to one another by a deeper understanding, a magic from which we've all been born. The Court of Summer is a circle of elders that, for lack of a better word, governs our kind. No one knows why it is happening, not even Hallam the White. Yet every day we can feel it, like a shiver of coming autumn, a deadly frost on the morning air. I believe it is due to what the Tuatha have wrought with their flames of war. The world burns. None of us can escape the cleansing fire. He's an incredible creature, unique in every way. No other Fae hero has grasped the imagination of our people like he has. Call me Olaine. The others will never call me anything but Lady Olaine, Knight of the Golden Knot, Destroyer of Sreng, and Keeper of the Fenian Cycle. I won a seat in the House of Ballads many seasons ago. Back then I was lost, and I desired a new telling, one with meaning. Your kind might call it a purpose. I have not met one myself, but there is word that Tuatha have been glimpsed in the shadows of western Dalantarth. Our kind survives by the grace of nature, and there is nothing natural about the Tuatha. When the roots are poisoned, the fruit spoils on the vine.
When Hallam told me a mortal had taken the open seat, I did not believe him. But here you stand before me. Impressive. It is a pity about Sagril, a grand hero. But there's not time to raise the king's token in his honor. We need every hand carrying a sword for the coming battle. We've come to aid Sir Ferrara, our brother in the Court of Enchantments. It is time for his telling of the Ballad of Bloody Bones. It is a ballad of obsession and sacrifice, one of the summer's oldest. Bloody Bones was not always as a terror. No, he was once called Famor, a counselor to Issa himself. Sadly, he was driven by lust, and by his need to possess whatever he desired. Taking Lord Issa's lover, he fled with her to his hollow of Uduath. When the maiden was rescued, Issa cursed Famor. He could not die, and his soul would never enter the Great Cycle. He became an abomination, known only as Bloody Bones. Every few seasons, Bloody would emerge and steal away a maiden to make his bride. That is, until he took the beloved of Sir Ferrara. We are legendary champions of the telling, brought together for the purpose of ensuring Summer Court glory for seasons to come. Like all other Fae in the Western lands, I am a subject of the Court of Summer, our wise council of elders. They are responsible for the well-being of our kind. I do not speak of magic with a knowing tongue, but I do know that the persistence of Fae songs is eternally linked to the enchanted lore stones in which they exist. When mortals began to use magic to create, change, and even destroy their own lore stones, it was decided that the ballads of the Summer Court needed better protection. The cairns are a new kind of lore stone, Hallam's way of keeping outside influence from affecting our stories, from corrupting them as the days pass and seasons transpire. There is no need to kneel. Honestly, I wish I could do away with all this king nonsense altogether. The tragedy we face, it is not legend. It is real. It is now. Yes, I am the acting Wenson, but the true king has been gone for many seasons. I am the 5th such Fae to hold the title, and at times like this, I wish I did not. It is an amulet worn by all King Wensons in the telling. I wear it, as have all the kings who rose and fell at the mercy of the seasons. Only he who wears the king's token is worthy of walking in Wenson's stead, of singing the most important songs of the Summer Court. He is one who prefers action to discussion, a tempestuous firebrand who would rather pursue the mortal flesh than any other of life's mysteries. That is why his ballad is such a stirring one. Ferrara will always be the lovable rogue who finally chooses another over himself. Timeless is what it is. Few know the truth of the House of Ballads, that we are not the actual heroes of myth. Those knights have gone, passing into the cycle, or moving on to nobler adventures. However, it is our wish for the great songs to endure, that seasons of Fae would sing them before the fires. True power is in returning to what matters. So the House of Ballads was established, and worthy warriors were found to act in the roles of Wenson, Bellmaid, and the others. To tell these tales is a great honor. Ferrara went in pursuit of his nemesis, for Bloody Bones has emerged, poised to abduct a maiden to be his mistress. So goes his song. You will need to revive Ferrara after the battle. I can only assume Hallam would not have sent you unprepared for this task. Go to Ferrara, and quickly. When the two of you finish, I will await you at the House of Ballads in the north. Do be careful, Sagril. Uduath is northwest, on the shores of Ettenmere. It is sealed by a powerful spell, but Bloody's magic is weak, and you should be able to gain entrance.
Welcome, Sir Sagril. May I congratulate you on your victory in Gorgoath. I am Queen Bellmaid, love of King Wenson and Grand Lady of the House of Ballads. The Fae of the East are not our enemies. We count them among our kind. At least we did. Times change. That is such a mortal thing to say. It is likely that you do not understand our need for continuity, our desire to repeat the past for the good of the coming future. What then is your drive to create a bloodline? There's no difference. The House of Ballads is our family tree. It is the sire we look to for wisdom. He represents all that is pure and just in the Summer Court. He is the vibrancy of life, what the Winter Court has always sought to darken with its decaying ways. She is our nemesis. The villain we in the House of Ballads are destined to thwart through all the seasons of the telling. If there is trouble, the maid is at its origin. I do not speak of my exploits, unless to warn against the pride that engulfs all who celebrate the telling. We are symbols of a greater truth, not the truth itself. I am best known for my infiltration of the Maid of Windermere's kingdom beyond the hills. It was I who shattered her ambitions to topple the Summer Court. It is difficult to see from its current condition, but the oratory was once the finest venue for performances of the Summer Court canon. The voices still linger. We regaled many a king under the oratory's grand canopy. But those seasons have passed. Our time has passed. This realm is at the mercy of cycles, of seasons, and the role of the Fae is no different. The telling is the ongoing story in which we all play an integral part.
There she is, my lovely bride. I am all dressed and prepared for our wedding. Thank you, stranger. Bless you. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to seal my bond with a ring and a kiss. Any last words for a crusty bachelor? My nymph! She just fouled that disgusting Etin with a glance. Beauty kills even the beast, so they say. Did you not see her wiggle her way to the cliff overlooking the lake? It's where we first met, you know. A grand spot for our union. Well, friend, if there's nothing else, I'm off. You're welcome to witness the event if you care to. Wait a moment. That's no nymph. That's not the graceful creature I fell in love with. You were good enough to go along with an old man's wishes. Might I ask one more of you? I want you to kill that beast, to preserve the memory of my bride. And I'll see you rewarded if you do. I'd rather not talk about it, stranger. My personal failings tend to make me upset. You've seen the chaos and destruction the thing has caused. It's a demon of the waters. Not only that, but, to think I ever loved that thing. It's shameful. Please, it burdens my old heart. I'll reward you for the work. I promise you that much. Just see it gone. That's the end of that, then. I'm sorry for roping you into such a task, stranger. It's just... you see enough sadness in your life, and you see chances for happiness wherever you look. Now for your reward. Take my wedding ring. Pissed on Imelda's memory long enough. Seems fair I give up what hasn't been taken. I've been a fisherman on these shores since I could cast a net. Even the Etin leave me be. Used to be this was the Holmes Lake. But I lost my wife Imelda to fever, and my nephew abandoned me to go to Dyden Hill. And now I'm just an old man content to die in the house my family built here years ago. They're hostile enough normally. But of late it seems like a couple have become struck with divine inspiration. The kind that makes the Etin go to war. If they keep this up, we might have an Etin war party on our hands. If only someone might take care of those shamans first. Not much here anymore besides the Etin and myself. We get the occasional traveller, but it's not often. It ain't much. Just a small charm that she had when we were wed. When fever took her, I mounted it on her grave. And then one of those two-headed bastards pried it off. Carried it to the lake, giggling like a pair of fools. Wouldn't dare follow the beasts there. But if you... well, you've helped me enough. Thank you. You're a kind soul indeed. The Etin took to the shore as soon as I saw him. He's somewhere on the lake's edge, I'm sure of it. One of those Etin took it and headed south, along the shore. He's somewhere on this lake, I know that much. You found it after all. For Imelda's sake, I'm glad you didn't leave it with that monster. I have a few coins left to my name, and you can take them. And the bed's free for your use whenever you care for it.
These are Shine and Shadow? I was sent to recover artifacts of importance, not simple weapons. The Templars are going to think me a fool. How am I to return to them with these? There's like to be more dignity in returning empty-handed rather than bringing back such a small trinket. If you want them, they're yours. And I suppose I promise compensation in return for your service. I can't say I'm happy about it, but here's your coin. Now, leave me be. I'm off to Odessa to bring them the sad news of the expedition. Their impudence seems tied to their devotion. From what I can tell, a small number of prominent shamans are rallying them. If someone had a head on their shoulders and a blade, then toppling those shaman would help pacify the area. My business is done here. I'm getting out of this horrible place and travelling back to Odessa. I had expected that they might be something like a miniature sun, a battery, which held an intense magical reservoir. The Scholia Arcana had theorized about these kinds of objects, but I hoped the gnomes might have discovered them first.
I do believe I'm becoming even dumber than I was before, and I was pretty feeble. Hope this works. Bottoms up, mate. I think it's working. Indubitably. Plethora. Effulgent, there it is! Now I should be able to brew up anything I need in no time. As agreed, here's your payment. You're a real lifesaver. Not sure if I'll ever quite remember who I am, where I'm from. Probably for the best. Didn't like that fellow. Me. I like to wander. Most in Yolven do. It's a crossroads, really. The place between where you are and wherever you mean to be. A word of warning. Avoid the southern road into Webwood. Spiders as big as a man down there.